She's known as the leper ship, a powder keg full of petrol stranded on the high seas. These pictures, exclusively released to Channel 4 News, show the huge crack on the deck of the Castor, which has turned her into a death trap. Petrol fumes fill the air, and even the ship's telephone has been turned off in case the slightest electrical spark causes her to explode. It was on December the 23rd that the Castor left Romania, bound for Nigeria, carrying 30,000 tons of unleaded petrol. 3 days later, off Morocco, she ran into a storm, which lasted for several days. By December the 31st, the ship had developed a crack over 20 metres long. After she moved towards the coast, the Moroccan authorities stopped her and ordered her further out to sea. By the 5th of January, Spain and Gibraltar had joined Morocco in banning the Castor. By now, the crew had noticed a strong smell of petrol and abandoned ship. This is the nightmare scenario the shipping community has long feared. A highly toxic ship crashing around on the high seas with no country prepared to give her shelter. And until maritime authorities around the world resolve how to deal with situations like this, it could happen again anywhere. The Castor is currently under tow from the world's biggest tugboat, destination uncertain. Algeria and Greece have also banned her from their territorial waters, fearing environmental catastrophe if she sinks or explodes. A small amount of petrol was transferred a week ago, but since these pictures were filmed, force 10 gales have made the operation impossible.
Hello, Castor, Cartagena traffic.
Speaking by ship's radio to me at a Spanish Coast Guard station, the ship's salvage master says he fears the worst.
If we are forced to become a maritime leper, in other words, if we are forced to keep turning circles around the Mediterranean for an indefinite period, eventually the ship will deteriorate its condition and break up. We are not asking for the vessel to be taken into port. All we are asking is a place of relative shelter in the lee of a shore.
Cartagena in southern Spain is monitoring the Castor's movements, but was among the first ports to turn her away. Ships just like the Castor in age and build enter this port all the time. But inviting a charge of hypocrisy, Spain now insists the Castor must stay at least 30 miles offshore.
¿Qué quieren ellos? Que yo arriesgue la vida de mi población.
The salvage company wants me to risk my coast and my people in a highly touristic area. And for what? For their profits?
¿El premio del rescate que van a llevarse ellos? ¿O el beneficio de qué?
What are they trying to save? Their cargo.
La carga. La carga.
So do you have a clear conscience that Spain has done everything it can to help this ship?
Si el Castor explota,
if the Castor blew up in Cartagena, that would be on my conscience.
But locals in Cartagena told us they'd much rather help the Castor's 50 salvage engineers rather than keeping them perilously far from shore. And the ship's Greek owner points out that she's far more likely to sink in rough seas than in these calmer waters.
The worst case scenario is the ship to break in two pieces and sink, so we'll have the cargo trapped in the bottom. And if we have the cargo trapped in the bottom of the sea, the damage which the cargo will affect to the environment will be continuous.
You can proceed now to the port side, over. No problem.
But if 24,000 tons of gasoline do end up sinking to the bottom, will it really be Spain's fault? This is the Castor's 24-year-old hull, filmed by ship inspectors just over a year ago. The ship was passed as seaworthy, a finding the inspection company stands by. Yet Spanish surveyors who boarded her after she cracked claim she was substandard. Another tanker, the Erika, sank off Brittany just over a year ago after she'd passed her safety inspection. 500,000 seabirds were killed by her leaking cargo. As the French army scraped oil off the beaches, France led European calls for safety checks to be tightened. France also wants single-hulled ships like the Erika and the Castor to be withdrawn from service, as the Americans have been doing for a decade. BP Amoco and ExxonMobil now refuse to charter old ships to prevent oil spillages. Yet the Castor's owner insists she is safe for hire. If BP are not prepared to carry oil or gasoline on your ship,
then why should anybody else carry it?
Right. In order to assess the risk for a ship, you have to assess from all angles. It's not age, it's not the only measure for the quality of a ship.
But your ship would not be allowed to go into American waters, would it?
We cannot approach the American waters on the basis that the ship is a single hull.
So why the hell should you be allowed to approach European waters?
Because the ship, we believe that the ship is very sound, well maintained, and is very well looked after.
But better safe than sorry. Surely we should have the same standards of safety as the Americans.
We have the same standards.
It was another single-hulled ship which recently ran aground off the Galapagos Islands, and not surprisingly, Ecuador has joined calls for a ban. The London-based International Maritime Organization has plans for a gradual phase-out of single-hulled tankers, but countries which make money from cheap shipping stand in the way of radical reform. There are also proposals for new rules obliging coastal states to give shelter to ships in distress, shelter the Castor badly needs. Yet the country drafting those proposals is Spain, and a dangerous ship like the Castor is a political football she'd rather not touch.
Somebody else is putting the ball in my area, but I have not interested to play the football. And say, please, this is my area, please put the ball in the other side, not here, for the first day.
So what of the Castor now? Algerian gunboats have shooed the ship away from their shores, and her salvage master thinks she will sink before reaching Cyprus, the only country prepared to take her in. Any port in a storm, they say, but not for the Castor, Europe's most unloved ship. Jonathan Rugman, Channel 4 News, Cartagena, Spain.